Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another Baddies USA review, so let's just get right into it because this episode was crazy and a lot went down. So this episode picks up where the last one left off, where the baddies are on the Sprinter on their way to the new house in DC, and Dolly, Summer, and Lex are on the Sprinter with Tinka and a few of the other baddies, and Tinka and Dolly seem to be laughing a little bit with each other on the Sprinter, and then all of a sudden Summer starts bringing up issues that Tinka and Dolly had with each other in the past. So then Dolly and Tinka start arguing with each other, and Dolly saying that Tinka doesn't like her and Tinka never liked her. And I mean, that might be true because we know that on Baddies Midwest, when Dolly and Tesehki were getting into it, Tinkerbella threw some alcohol in Dolly's eyes in the middle of the fight with Tesehki. So if I'm thinking about that issue that they had in the past, I definitely do feel like that was the start of whatever problems they had with each other. So they're arguing back and forth, and all of a sudden Dolly ends up taking her bag off and she just starts taking off on Tinkerbella on that Sprinter. I'm sorry, I know the fight on the Sprinter didn't last long and a security guard definitely got in the way, but from what I was able to see, it looked like Dolly was definitely getting Tinka on the Sprinter. And Summer gets in her confessional and she admits that she instigated the fight between Dolly and Tinkerbella, which she absolutely did. And I can understand, like, she feels like Tinka was being fake with Dolly on the Sprinter because we know that Tinka doesn't really like Dolly, but I also didn't understand why she would want to have her friend fighting, so I just thought that was a little bit weird. But Tinka got in her confessional and she was saying that after their fight, people are going to be saying, nah, Dolly, you lost. But no, Dolly ended up winning that fight, so no, Tinka, you lost, which is what Lex said in the comment section right before this season started airing. Now, Natalie is the first one to pull up to the baddies' house in DC. This house is huge and it's really, really nice, but according to Natalie, the baddies will not be staying in the houses this season. They'll be staying in hotels, but they'll only be coming to the house for, you know, house meetings and stuff like that. Which, I mean, I kind of don't like that idea, but then again, for this show, it doesn't really make a difference if they're all living together in one house or if they're staying in hotels, because at the end of the day, all the fights happen at the house meetings anyway, so it really doesn't make a difference. Now, Tavy, Kold Killa, Fauna, and Scotty end up arriving to the house first, and Natalie shows them around the house, and once they get to the backyard, there's a really nice pool out there, and Killa is just joking around with Tavy, and she says that she'll give her $500 if she jumps into the pool, and Tavy just dives right into the pool, fully clothed, her hair done, her makeup done, and she just comes out the pool and she looks a complete mess. And Killa was in her confessional laughing about it because she said that she wasn't really being serious about giving her $500. She was just saying it to joke around, and she didn't think that Tavy would really do it. And even Scotty came out there and she asked, you know, Tavy why she would do that, and Tavy said that she doesn't have the kind of money that Scotty has, and that's the reason why she did it. But I'm wondering if Killa really gave her that $500, because in my mind, I'm thinking Killa did not give her that money and she jumped in that pool for no reason. So Natalie's standing outside with the girls waiting for the rest of the baddies to arrive, and Lex, Dolly, Summer, Tinka, Rolly, Gretch, Sapphire, Nunu, and Suki end up arriving, and Tinka and Dolly are ready to fight as soon as they get off the Sprinter. So they start fighting with each other. In this first round, Dolly definitely won because Tinka was not even swinging. She had her head down and it looked like she was trying to rush Dolly. That's the way that Tinka fights. Like, I literally can't stand the way that Tinka fights, because that's the reason why she loses a lot, because of the way that she does it. She tries to, you know, charge at people instead of swinging. So because Tinka lost, she wanted to fight another round with Dolly. In this round, to me, neither one of them really did anything. They were kind of swinging on each other. Security was in the way, and Dolly kind of slightly slipped and fell back and held on to security. So I just felt like this second round, really nothing happened. So then they end up fighting a third and final round, and in this round, it looked like Dolly was definitely getting in there with Tinka. Like, it looks like Dolly's hits hurt. I know that she's always hurting her hand, and I feel like it's probably because she probably hits with a lot of force, because Tinka's eye was pretty messed up after the fight with Dolly. But in the middle of this third round, Summer comes out of nowhere and she starts grabbing Dolly, and she grabs onto Dolly's boob, I think, and her boob is almost coming out of her shirt, and Dolly's telling Summer, wait, stop, my boob. And then Summer is over there trying to pull her. So Lex goes over there and she tries to grab Summer, and she tells Summer not to get involved in the fight. Dolly can handle herself, and Summer's yelling at Lex, and Lex is telling Summer to give her her cup because she's drinking too much, and Summer starts yelling at Lex, telling her no. So Lex tries to laugh this time off, because there's multiple times in this episode that Lex tries to calm Summer down and Summer just starts going off on Lex, but this time around Lex was trying to take it easy on Summer because she knows that Summer's been drinking, so Lex kind of laughs this one off. So Natalie finally gets all the girls quiet and she starts telling them that some things are going to be different this season, and she lets them know that when things get too crazy, she will be taking a step back and walking away. She said that she's not leaving, but she will walk away when a situation situation is escalating a little bit too much for her because she said that she's dealing with a lot behind the scenes. And she claims that that's the reason why she walked away from the bad girls in last week's episode, because she said that they were getting too crazy and she didn't want things to escalate, so she ended up walking away. My thing is that I don't know if I really believe her completely, because when Tanisha walked in, that's when she decided to walk away and leave. Now, it could be that she didn't want, things to escalate between her and Tanisha, and she knows how the two of them can get when they're around each other, so maybe that's why she walked away when Tanisha was there. But some people are saying that she was scared. I really don't know if she was scared or not, but she's claiming that that's the reason why she walked away. She also said that she was upset with the bad girls because she had bad girls chains made for them that she wanted to give them, but because they were yelling at her like Persuasion and, Bree, she said that she decided not to give it to them. All I know is I am hoping to see more of the bad girls this season, because I feel like there's no point in bringing them in if they were only going to be a part of one episode. So I definitely hope to see more of them this season. And obviously we saw a clip for next week's episode, and some of them are a part of that episode, so I'm interested to see what they bring. Then Tesehki, Biggie, Anna, and Mariah Lynn end up showing up, and Tesehki walks into the house really quiet, but Anna, Mariah Lynn, and Biggie are saying hi to everybody and giving everybody a hug, and Summer immediately starts booing all of them as they're walking down the steps towards them, which I feel like Summer shouldn't be doing, because she's claiming that her friends are not jumping in the fights for her, but she's starting all of these fights. Like, she immediately starts taking jabs at Mariah Lynn and Anna, and they're kind of trying to ignore her because I don't think that they wanted to fight her right away, but Summer was just antagonizing them. But Dolly decides that she wants to try to talk things out with Anna, so her and Anna are talking to each other, and Dolly's telling Anna that she thought that the two of them were cool with each other, but then all of a sudden Anna switched up, but Anna's saying that Dolly's the one that switched on her. Anna is saying that when they were at the Baddies premiere, she turned on her for Summer, and that's the reason why they're not cool now, but according to Dolly, her and Anna talked after that situation, so she thought there was no issues. Anna says that her and her girls said that they like Doly and Lex, but they don't like Summer. So obviously Summer starts chiming in, and I understand why she started chiming in at first, because obviously Anna mentioned her name. However, I do feel like she should have allowed Dolly to finish having her conversation with Anna, and then she could have talked, because she was cutting Dolly off every time Dolly was trying to have this conversation with Anna, and I just didn't think that that was right, because it seems like Summer always wants everything to be about her, and I just felt like if her, Dolly, and Lex had an agreement that they weren't going to get involved in each other's beefs, they were going to handle their own beefs, but if one of them were getting jumped, they would get involved in it. And so for Summer to get involved in this situation between Dolly and Anna, I just didn't think that that was right. And Dolly was asking Summer calmly if she could be quiet and let her finish what she had to say, but Summer was just not trying to let that happen. Dolly and Anna do end up finishing their conversation though. Dolly says that she didn't want to fight Anna because Anna is smaller than her, and then that's when Summer got involved, and she starts saying that she fought Tesehki and she's smaller than Tesehki, but that's when Anna started chiming in, and she goes back and forth with Summer a little bit, telling Summer that Summer is bigger than Dolly. And the reason why Anna decided to mention that is because Summer was making it seem like she was too small to be fighting Tesehki, but Dolly fought Tesehki and Dolly's smaller than Summer. But I don't know why Summer at this point was saying that her and Tesehki fought, because they did not fight in last week's episode. Tesehki definitely slapped Summer a few times in last week's episode, but they definitely did not fight, which is what Tesehki said to Summer in this episode, that she didn't fight her. But for people to try to say that Dolly and Lex did not have Summer's back, to me is crazy, because even in this episode at this point, when Tesehki walks up and she slaps the shit out of Summer, Dolly runs over there and she puts her arm up and she starts telling Tesehki to stop. Like, they definitely tried to get Tesehki not to touch Summer, but because Summer would not shut the fuck up, Tesehki just kept coming for her. Like, they were literally trying to tell Summer to be quiet because they know the damage that Tesehki can do, and Tesehki has fought people that fight better than Summer, so they knew that if Tesehki really went full force on Summer, Summer would have been destroyed. Like, she would have been beat up worse than when Ivory beat her up last season. And even at this point in the episode, when Dolly put her arm up and she tried to stop Tesehki from going after Summer, Summer keeps running her mouth and she pushes, Dolly's arm away, and it's like, girl, your friends are trying to calm you down. Calm down. And Summer does try to swing on Tesehki, but she misses her. Like, she definitely tried to slap Tesehki, but it did not connect. And Lex is over there trying to get Summer to stop. She's telling her to calm down, leave the situation alone, and Summer is just not listening. Summer even calls Tesehki a grapist. I don't like to say it like that, but that's the way that I have to say it because it's really censored on YouTube, so I have to say grapist. But that's what, Summer was calling Tesehki. She was saying this throughout the episode, and it was crazy that she kept saying that because she's saying these things about Tesehki, but then when Tesehki Tiki's coming over there to address the situation and to fight her, she keeps backing up and telling security to get her away from her. If you want Tesehki to leave you alone, just shut up. I mean, at this point, even Natalie went over there and tried to get Summer to calm down, but she just would not calm down. And even Lex said she's been drinking. She was drinking too much, and that's the reason why she's acting that way. Like, Dolly and Lex throughout this episode was trying to explain to the other girls that Summer had too much to drink, and that's why she was acting that way. But the other girls did not want to hear it. They were over it because these girls don't have a friendship with Summer, so they don't care if she's been drinking or not. They're not going to give her any passes. And this episode was making me see that Summer really doesn't care about Dolly and Lex, because at one point, Rolly ended up telling Summer that she needed to be quiet and let Dolly have her conversation, and that it was wrong for her to interrupt Dolly while she was talking to Anna because that's supposed to be Summer's friend, so why wouldn't you let her talk? And Summer said that she didn't give a fuck. She can do whatever she wants to do, so that means she doesn't really care about her friends. Tesehki starts coming after Summer again, and Summer's backing up, kind of running from her a little bit, and she's telling Tesehki to stop trying to fight her and fight Krishan because Krishan's the one that made the allegations. And although I do understand where Summer's coming from, yeah, Krishan is the one who made these allegations against Tesehki, but that's not Summer's place to get involved in the situation that's between two sisters. And that's what I feel like some of the fans don't understand, is that, yeah, it doesn't matter if you believe Tesehki or Krishan. The point is that none of us were there. None of us know exactly what happened. The only two people that know what happened is Krishan and Tesehki, so none of us can say what happened or didn't happen, and it's nobody's place to get involved in that situation. Everybody else knew to stay out of it, but because Summer's really hot-headed, she decided to get involved in it anyway, and now she's running from Tesehki, but she keeps antagonizing her. And then she's antagonizing Tesehki, but wants her friends to get involved in it. And it's like, why should your friends continuously stop Tesehki from beating you up when you keep saying the most disgusting things about this girl? It's like, I'm sorry, having a friend like Summer would be absolutely exhausting, because the amount of times you would have to fight and beef with people because of her stirring up drama is insane. And it's like, it's not that they didn't have her back. They definitely kept trying to stop Tesehki, but they were also trying to tell Summer to stop, because at some point, Tesehki's going to end up getting a hold of you, and there's nothing they can do about it. Because why should Dolly and Lex have to fight Tesehki for Summer when Summer started this beef with Tesehki in the first place? And you can say that they beefed with other people that Summer was beefing with, but at this point, they're probably exhausted from the way that Summer is behaving, because if Summer was sober, she probably wouldn't have been acting the way that she was acting right now. But all of a sudden, while Summer is kind of backing away from Tesehki, Kold Killa just runs up on Tinka and she sneaks her. So they're both in their fight stance, and they're just like kind of standing there, walking around in circles around each other, backing up, moving from side to side like they're playing Ring Around the Rosie, but neither one of them are swinging, and everybody's kind of getting annoyed watching them. This went on for so long. I feel like they could have cut this part down a little bit, because it took up a lot of the episode, and it was crazy to me that these girls were just standing there not swinging on each other. Everybody was literally over watching them do this. Everybody was telling them to just swing on each other. Rolly told them that she could have been eating a sandwich by now, because that's how long it took for them to swing on each other. And then Rolly just goes over there and she tells them to stop. She tells them she's tired of it. Stop. You guys are not going to fight each other. Just let it go. And honestly, I was so relieved when Rolly said this, because I was tired of it. And oh my God, Sukiana and Sapphire reenacting Kold Killa and Tinka trying to fight each other was so funny to me. They started dancing and getting in their little fight stance. That shit was funny as hell, because it was so true. Like, that's exactly what they were doing. It reminds me of like a video game, and you're waiting for the game to start, and so the characters are just standing there in their fight stance, but they're not really moving. That's exactly what Tinka and Killa looked like when they were trying to fight each other. And then even after Rolly tried to get them to stop, they started doing it again. They started doing that stance all around the entire backyard. Killa slipped and fell on one step, and Lex was trying to help her because she stopped Tinka from taking off on Killa, because when Killa fell, that's when Tinka decided that she was going to try to swing, and Lex told her no, because if she wanted to swing on, Kold Killa, she could have done it when they were standing there in their fight stance for all this time. And look, I know that it's not Lex's place to get involved in that situation, because it had nothing to do with her, but I do agree with her that Tinka had multiple chances to swing on, Kold Killa when they were doing their little fight stance all around the backyard, doing their little dance, and she chose not to do it. She chose to wait until Kold Killa slipped and fell. Lex and Gretchen ran over there to try to stop them from trying to fight each other, because it was clear that neither one of them really wanted to swing, and then all of a sudden they finally start swinging on each other. And oh my God, Tinka pulled an entire braid out of Kold Killa's hair. Like, that was crazy. Like, this is Rolly and Diamond the Body all over again, and then Bahati and Daisy all over again. Like, people are getting their hair ripped out of their damn head. This is the third person to get their hair ripped out on Baddies. It's like, what do they have to do to their hair to not get it ripped out? Then Summer starts asking Tesehki why she wants to fight her, which is a dumb question. You can tell that Summer was drunk, because how can you ask this girl why she wants to fight you when you know why she wants to fight you, because you keep antagonizing her and calling her every name in the book. So Tesehki is walking towards Summer, and Summer just starts windmilling like crazy, okay? Tesehki hasn't even touched Summer yet, and Summer starts windmilling because she knows that if she wants to be able to take down Tesehki, she has to start swinging before Tesehki does, and I thought that was kind of funny. Summer stops windmilling and she's backing up because Tesehki's walking towards her, and she starts antagonizing her again, saying that she believes what Caresha said, which she's entitled to her opinion. She can agree with what Caresha said, but that's not her place to say it, and that's not her place to get involved in that situation. Nobody's saying she can't have that opinion that she believes Caresha, but the fact that she's involved in this situation in the first place makes her in the wrong. So Tesehki just takes her fist and she punches Summer right in the side of the head, and oh my god, I just was nervous for Summer this entire time, because we saw what Tesehki can do to people, and she's fought people that fight better than Summer, so I was scared for Summer, honestly. Which is why I feel like Dolly and Lex and everybody was trying to get Summer to leave Tesehki alone, because we saw what she can do to people that can actually fight better than Summer. So if she would have gotten her hands on Summer the way that she probably wanted to, she could have really destroyed her. I will say though, Summer definitely has liquid courage, because she swings on Tesehki and she catches Tesehki right in the side of the face. And at that point, you can tell that everybody looked like they were afraid for Summer, because they didn't know what Tesehki was going to do. I don't think the hit even hurt Tesehki, but Tesehki does swing on, Summer a few times. She catches her a little bit, but not a lot. You can definitely tell that Tesehki took it easy on Summer, because she knows what she could do to her, and so I definitely feel like she took it lightly on Summer. So Natalie runs over there really quickly and she grabs Summer and she walks her up the stairs to the balcony, because she wants to get Summer away from Tesehki. And Summer just keeps talking. She just won't shut up, because that's when Caresha, DJ Sky, and Marsh end up showing up, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and Summer yells over the balcony for Caresha to beat up Tesehki. She keeps saying this over and over and over again. But at that point, Tesehki sees Caresha show up, and her attention completely shifts from Summer to Caresha, and she goes up to Caresha and she starts confronting her, because she said that she saw a video that rubbed her the wrong way. And we find out what was in this video later on in the episode. I think I heard Tesehki say that there was a video of Caresha sitting with, Tommy and Summer, and they were both saying really bad things about Tesehki, and Caresha just sat there and she didn't say anything, like she allowed them to say these things. I don't know if this is the only video that she's talking about, but this is one of the things that Tesehki addressed in this episode. So Caresha starts trying to talk and she says, okay, let's address the truth then. And I don't know if she was talking about the truth about the allegations she made about, Tesehki, or if she was talking about this video that Tesehki is upset about. I don't know which one she was talking about, but everybody was yelling over Caresha, so she never really got to address anything. Teseki's crying and she's going off saying that Caresha apologized to her behind closed doors in front of family, but when she gets on front of the camera, she doesn't want to apologize and tell the truth. And so Teseki's crying at this point. She keeps getting in Caresha's face. Caresha's telling Tesehki that she needs to stop crying because she's a grown woman. I don't understand why Caresha said that though. Like, I'm not saying that Caresha's completely in the wrong in this situation, but making fun of her because she's crying and telling her that she's too old to be crying doesn't make any sense, because when I scroll on social media, I see numerous videos of Caresha crying. And while this is going on, Summer, Gretchen, and Lex are at the top of the balcony, because Lex was up there because she was trying to make sure Summer was okay. And Summer's yelling for Caresha to beat up Tesehki while all of this is going on underneath them. And Lex starts telling Summer to be quiet. And Summer starts yelling at Lex, telling her no, that Lex can't tell her what to do. So Lex yells for her to shut the fuck up. And that's when Summer gets pissed off and she tells Lex to shut the fuck up. And Lex tells Summer calmly that when her friends are telling her to calm down and to be quiet, she needs to listen because they have her best interest in mind. And that's when Summer tells Lex, fuck you, and Lex says, okay, fuck you too, bitch, and she walks away, because it's like, what am I supposed to do if you're telling me F you and you don't want anything to do with me when I'm trying to help you? Then that's it, I'm just gonna throw my hands up and walk away. And even after this situation, Lex still tries to help Summer throughout this episode. Caresha and Tesehki are arguing with each other, and Teseki's crying, telling Caresha that she needs to tell the truth and stop lying on her, because that's the reason why Summer is up there saying what she's saying about her, because Caresha won't clear the air, even though she's saying that privately Caresha apologized. Now, we don't know what she apologized for. We don't know if she apologized for lying on Tesehki or if she apologized for making these allegations public. We don't know which one she apologized for, but Tesehki is saying that it happened. She also was going up to Caresha's face and kind of grabbing her face a little bit, but she wouldn't hit her, even though I think that she really wants to. She's trying to hold back because she said in this episode that Caresha knows what she's capable of. Like, she knows that if she fights her, she knows she can really do some damage to her her, and she doesn't want to do that to Krishan. Meanwhile, Summer is over there yelling in Dolly and Lex's face when they're trying to calm her down, but then Krishan goes over there and she tries to calm Summer down, and Summer kind of calms down a little bit, and I thought that was so weird that she's calming down for this person who she has no relationship with at all, but the two girls who have had her back for the past 2 seasons and have stood by her even when she was wrong, she can't even listen to them when they're trying to calm her down. But then Tesehki comes over there and she pops Summer right in the face, and I think Dolly was trying to grab Summer, or I don't know if she was trying to grab Summer and that's the reason why they fell together, or if it was because Tesehki hit Summer and she lost her balance. I don't know which one it was, but all I know is that Summer fell on top of Dolly and they fell onto the ground. And you know, Dolly was a good sport about it. She was laughing about it because at this point, Dolly and Lex know that Summer's drunk and they're trying to tell this to the other girls, but the other girls don't care. And at one point, Suki starts yelling at Summer, telling Summer that she's not really Dolly's friend. And Summer kind of clocked Suki a little bit though, because she told Suki to shut up and that she's not really Sapphire's friend either. And I feel like that's the truth. I don't feel like Sapphire and Suki have a real genuine friendship either, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of the friendships on this show are not really genuine. But then Anna sneaks up on Summer from behind and she snatches her up and they kind of start having a little bit of a scuffle on the stairs, but they really didn't get to do anything to each other because security broke it up. And even after Summer was yelling in Dolly's face, Dolly still said that she had an issue with Anna running up and sneaking Summer. So Dolly goes over there and she tries to grab Summer and get her away from everybody because she feels like if Summer stays over there, everybody's going to be jumping on her. But Summer's not listening to Dolly. She starts yelling at Dolly and Lex again, and that's when Rolly snatches up Summer. Like, she grabs Summer and she's dragging her into the house, and she starts yelling at Summer, telling her that she needs to calm down and she needs to stay out of Krishan and Teseki's business because it has nothing to do with her. And you know, Dolly's trying to tell her that Summer's drunk, and Rolly said that she didn't give a fuck, and Dolly's over there with both her arms between them because she doesn't want Rolly to hit Summer. So even when Summer was disrespecting Dolly and Lex, they still tried to protect her. So for people to be saying that Dolly and Lex didn't act like a friend, that's crazy to me. The way the fans were on the internet dragging Dolly and Lex for the fallout of the big three is crazy to me because we clearly see that Summer was the problem. And while they're all over there, all of a sudden Tesehki walks up and she knocks the shit out of Summer. Like, she punches her so hard in the face, like it looked like it took the wind out of Summer, because after that happened, Summer backed up and she wanted to go in the house. Like, she was trying to get in the house and get the hell away from Tesehki. And Summer goes into this room, like this little room that has a curtain up, and she's in there with Tommy, and Tommy's trying to calm her down, and Summer's crying, hugging on Tommy, but she didn't do that when Dolly and Lex were trying to help her out. And then Lex goes in the room and she tries to talk to Summer, and Summer starts yelling at her, telling her to get out and that she doesn't have her back. And she's telling Lex that Lex allowed Tesehki to hit her, and it's like, girl, you keep antagonizing her. This is what Lex is telling Summer. I tried to break it up, I tried to stop it, I tried to get you to stop, I tried to get Tesehki to stop, but you wouldn't listen to me. And Summer's still yelling at her and she's pushing Lex, like she's literally pushing her. So Lex starts crying, okay? Like, she's crying genuine tears, and I felt really bad watching her cry like that because it's clear that she had a genuine bond with Summer. She really liked her. It's clear that she cares about Summer, but when Summer drinks, Summer does not know how to act and she gets too crazy. And so Lex is crying because she feels like, you know, her friendship's falling apart with Summer, and Summer really treated them bad in this episode. Like, Summer was dead ass wrong the way that she treated Dolly and Lex. So Lex walks out of the room and she's crying and everybody's asking her what's wrong, and then Tesehki just busts into the room where Summer is hiding, and that's where the episode ends. And even after Summer did some distasteful things and said some nasty things, like, fans wanted her gone after that Emmett Till comment, and a lot of the other girls would have dropped Summer as a friend and publicly said that they didn't fuck with her anymore because of what she said and the hate that she was getting, but they did not do that. They probably didn't agree with what she said, but they still was her friend and they still had her back even though they were getting hate because of it. And when fans would go in their lives or in their comment sections and tell them that they need to check Summer, they told you guys that they would tell Summer when she was wrong privately, but fans did not want to accept that and said that they need to do it publicly or else it doesn't count. So now this season, they're all standing on their own and only getting involved if one of them are getting jumped, which is what the fans said they wanted. They said they wanted the big three to stop getting involved in each other's beefs. Now they're doing that and fans are mad about it. And now fans are mad at Dolly and Lex because they were checking Summer in front of everybody, but that's what you guys said you wanted. Like, a lot of the fans were saying that they wanted to see Dolly and Lex hold Summer accountable. Now they're doing that, and you guys are saying that they're bad friends, so they can't win at all. So these are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies USA. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.